Welcome everyone to a new episode here on the YouTube channel of Pro Football Switzerland. Today in English, you already noticed because we have a special guest, Coach Herford, new head coach of the Helvetic Mercenaries. Coach, how are you?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for your time already. And first question, we already know your stints as a coach. We saw it on the Mercenaries Instagram. You came around in Europe, Milano, Berlin, obviously in the US. But tell me something about you as a player back in the days. What position did you play and where did you play?
Yeah, so actually I started it and I was from Texas. So I started at 4 years old in flag football. I actually started out as a running back and a linebacker, and that's how my whole career kind of started. But once I got to the age where you're able to play in school, I then became a quarterback, and I was pretty much a quarterback all the way through my first year in college, or second year in college at the University of Kansas, where I was fortunate to become the 25th in the nation as a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. And then I end up switching to receiver, kick return from my sophomore year of college on through.
So you basically played everywhere. Just quickly said you're from Texas. So what's your favorite NFL team? Are you a Cowboys fan?
I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan. Obviously, it's been a struggle this year, but yeah, I'm a huge Cowboys fan. Literally since I even learned about football at 3, 4 years old, it was ingrained in our family to be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, it doesn't look too good, like you said, this
Yeah.
year. But yeah, we hope for the best from a Cowboys perspective. Back to the Mercenaries. You're enough as a coach now, talking for you as a coach. That's why you came to Switzerland. You're an offensive mind. You said you also played linebacker, but of course you had as a coach you more on the offensive side of the ball. What kind of philosophy you play? Are you a West Coast guy, air raid, or what kind of offense can the Mercenaries fans expect?
A fun offense. I really pride myself on being, innovative when it comes to some of the things that we present. I think it has a kind of style of its own. It's funny when people ask me, this question because they're like, okay, are you more run, more pass? And I tell everybody this equation. I'm 20% run, 20% pass, and 60% whatever works that day. So
Nice.
we're going to lean on what works. Obviously, it's key to have players that can do what they need to do within the system. So the more talent we have there, the easier it is to find ways to get those guys the ball. So I really pride myself on attacking, being the attacker and not being attacked. And that's just something I'm definitely ready to bring to the mercenaries.
Nice. And it sounds like you're still be in charge of the offensive play calling duties.
That is correct.
Nice. Nice. Still now at the end of last year, it was kind of tough for the Mercenaries because a lot of good players left the organization. John Falk retired. Then we had like defensive lineman Tim Henney, who also played for Hamburg, Dominic Liechti. Offensive player of the year from Switzerland, Sven Riepel, doesn't seem to join the Mercenaries anytime soon. How are you guys try to compensate these losses?
Man, that's been obviously the challenge. Since I took the job, it's been literally pedal to the metal almost every single day of recruiting and trying to get guys back on board or get new guys on board. And I will say that it's going extremely well. Obviously today is a huge announcement for the team, which we're excited about. But at the end of the day, it's been definitely a challenge to try to get more guys back in the play. But again, it's going extremely well. So we're all putting our heads together. Chris, Jeremy, and myself of going after the guys that are on our list, and yeah, just continuing to push at it every single day.
So you just said it today. A big announcement when you guys see this podcast is going to be Tuesday. So this huge announcement from today and maybe another one tomorrow. A lot of signings will be announced this week. You already saw this once this episode comes out. What needs to happen for the Mercenaries to become a playoff team? Because I always said the talent is here in Switzerland, and if now the right coaching staff is here, the organization is on the rise, the playoffs must be a possible option because teams like Madrid also achieved it. So, what in your opinion needs to happen?
Huh. Well, first and foremost is exactly what we just talked about, which is the homegrowns. That's 90% of your team. So making sure that you get the right guys that come in with the right mindset, I think is absolutely important. One thing that I've really tried to identify through the process are guys that have been a part of winning. And I say that because when you're bringing in a culture of winning, you want guys that knows what it takes to be a winner. Not to say that if a guy isn't from a winning culture, they can't learn it, because I've been in that position to help those guys come along. But it helps when a lot of your guys have been a part of a culture where winning is that culture, because it just helps push on the mindset that's needed. So that's going to be the first and foremost day one thing when it comes, once this roster is built, is the mindset. It's a whole shift coming. I'm very excited about what myself as a head coach is bringing to the table. But as you mentioned, it takes more than just a head coach. It takes a full staff of guys with the same mind. It takes a whole bunch of like-minded players that are willing to do whatever it takes to get over that hump. And will it be easy? Absolutely not. But becoming a playoff team, a champion, what have you, is not easy. And if you want it easy, I also don't want it on this team. I want guys that are willing to go through whatever it takes to get to a playoff contending status. So it's going to take all of us to continue going in the right direction and get to that point, to make sure that they understand that it's going to take hard work and it's going to take a complete shift. And I don't know if people have seen the TTP tag I've been putting on almost everything. It's turn the page. Turn the page. Last year it's over with. It's over with. Turn the page. If you want to get to a new chapter in the book, you got to turn the page. If you want to rewrite a new book or rewrite your story, you got to turn the page. So that's going to be the thing that we're really looking to push and pride for, and put ourselves in position to try to shock the league this next year.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you right away about the TTP. Thankfully, you already explained it. You saw this all over social media from the mercenaries, social media, and the coaches and Jeremy. Really nice. Speaking of winning, unfortunately, the Swiss franchise only had one win last year, three the year before. How are you guys as coaches and the organization tries to make it an attractive opportunity for players who have their concerns about joining the mercenaries because they don't want to be like a team that has not has doesn't have a lot of wins at the end of the season.
It goes exactly to what the motto is: turn the page. Like we can't at all get to a winning status
Mhm.
or even have a chance to even move forward if you're continuing to look backwards. And that's something that, as I'm talking to recruits day after day, I'm trying to help them understand what's before doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what. So yes, it's part of the history of the mercenaries, but that's not what the future has to look like. So as long as we get guys that understand that we got to turn this page and rewrite our own story, we have everything in front of us right now to write our own story. So that's the real big thing for guys that I'm recruiting, to make sure they understand that what happened before, it is what it is. It's time to move on and turn the page.
And do the mercenaries have talked like internally about certain goals? Do you have certain goals with the organization, like how many wins you want to reach? Is playoff the goal, or what can we expect?
What we can expect is to have a team that's ready to compete every single week. Obviously, I can sit here and start naming off, goals left and right, but I don't think that that's what the main goal right now is: to build the most competitive team possible and to put ourselves in position to go 1-0 every single week as many times as we can. And that helps end that goal the way it needs to be ended. If I had to say one personal goal, is what I kind of mentioned earlier, is I want to be a part of shocking the league. This is something that, when I this past season with the Invaders, the Hildesheim Invaders, coming from the second league to the first league, not many teams or people thought that we would even be even close to a winning team. And what did we do? We went out and went to the semifinals the first year. Now, am I saying that that's exactly how it's going to play out here? Is to be seen. But at the end of the day, the goal for me and for our team is going to be to put ourselves in position to shock the league. And I say that because, I know that it can happen. There's no way that if you do things the right way, you don't give yourself a chance every single week to be great. So that's what the goal is.
And speaking of shocking the league, or also with actions speak louder than words, you just mentioned you went to the semifinals of Hildesheim, and the Mercenaries just made a shocking announcement on the weekend with signing Aaron Jackson from the Thunder, one of the best receivers in the whole league last season. Great returner as well. Can you talk us through it? How did this come together?
Man, it's funny because before I took the job, I was like, if I ever get into if I get an ELF head coach position, one of the guys I would love to go after is Aaron Jackson. I have been watching the past 2 seasons. Dude is dynamic, and I can just see him doing some damage in my style of system. And so once I took the job, they were basically saying, "Hey." I told them kind of what I was looking to do with the imports, and they're like, "Hey, coach, we actually been kind of in contact with Aaron Jackson." And I was like, "Well, that's funny because that's exactly the guy I had on one of the top of my list." So I kind of went and took over the recruiting with him, along with Jeremy and Chris, and we made it happen. He believes in the vision that's being brought here, and everything just kind of played itself out.
Yeah, this was definitely a surprise and a good surprise because, like we just said, how great Aaron Jackson is as a player. Um, Now Aaron Jackson needs someone that throws him the ball to. Can you give us? I know you probably can't make an announcement right now, even if you already know who the new quarterback is going to be. But can you give us a hint? What can we expect, and when will the signing be announced?
Well, the signing will be announced this weekend. It's going to be a dynamic player. I think it's somebody that everybody will also be kind of shocked. Okay, how did that happen? There, and so I'm very excited to get that announced. Of course, I can't give too much out. That wouldn't be right to do, but all I can say is I think that Switzerland fans, people in Switzerland that follow the Mercenaries, would be very excited about the quarterback that we're bringing in.
Can you tell us if he already did play in the European League of Football in Europe?
If I do that, everybody's going to start trying to go down the list of quarterbacks. So it's to be seen.
Okay, we stay tuned. We stay tuned. Speaking also, I mean, like we said, this week a lot of signings will be announced. Already a Swiss signing was announced. Pro Football Switzerland Defensive Rookie of the Year from the first division last season, Tobias Sen. Also great signing. First Swiss signing. Yeah, what can you tell us about this new player?
Man, I'm extremely excited to see him go to work. I went and looked at his film. He is explosive. He's a guy that gets it. He has a full pass rush arsenal to him, and obviously it's only going to get better as we get. Actually, that's going to be another announcement down the line. Is one of the D line coaches that we're hiring, he's the real deal. And yeah, I'm very excited to see him put some work in with Tobias. But he is absolutely a stud of a player, and I'm excited to see him go to work.
Really nice, and probably not the last player that won a Pro Football Switzerland award last year. Maybe also another great offensive rookie will join the Mercenaries, but nothing official yet. Uh, Speaking of next week, now we have November 11th or the weekend after, basically a huge trial is coming up. Then you will be in Switzerland for the first time. What are your expectations there? Players will try to make the team. Yeah, what can you tell us about that?
Man, I'm so excited, first off, to get to Switzerland. I've never been to Switzerland. I've heard nothing but great things about it in general. So first and foremost, I am excited about that. But as far as the tryout, man, I'm looking forward to seeing the talent that's going to be out there. I'm the guy that's going to come out there and lay it all on the line to have their shot at being a mercenary. We have almost 50 players already signed up with over 12 countries represented. So it's going to be a wealth of talent out there, and I'm just excited to see these guys go out and compete.
Perfect. Then for after that, then you said you're going to be in Switzerland for the first time for the tryout. What are the plans for the rest of the year, or is then more or less a small like break for winter? What is the schedule like now for the mercenaries and for you?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's gonna be and the tryout is kind of our first phase. Do go through the winter break, and then our first phase of the off season program would jump off next year. So we want to give the guys time to, recalibrate, kind of get things back in order, get their family, have fun, do what they need to do from that side. Because once it's time to hit the ground running, we're gonna hit the ground running with work, consistent work from here until the season starts. So that's pretty much the plan from here on out. Is just to take it a step at a time, give them their time, because when it's time to get to work.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, yeah, it sounds really positive, and you seem really motivated, which is a great sign for the fans and everyone involved. Um, what do you think is the biggest challenge for you as a coach next season?
It's funny you ask that because I don't see things as challenges. I see it as opportunities.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, I don't see anything that's before us as a challenge. It's an opportunity to do something great. It's an opportunity to turn heads. It's an opportunity to go out every single day and get better. So I don't look at it per se as a challenge. Obviously, when you're in this league, you're playing against the best of the best. Every single week is going to be an opportunity to go against somebody that can beat you that day, or you're going to beat them that day. So that's going to be what the quote unquote challenge is making sure that we're ready for that opportunity when it comes to becoming the best team that we can be on a week to week basis.
Hmm. Perfect. Yeah, coach, slowly we reach the end of this interview, but now I also want to give you the chance to tell everything that now you didn't have the chance to say to the audience. So the word is yours.
Man, I am so excited for this opportunity. This is something that I've worked my tail off personally to help get myself back in position to even be looked at as a head coach in the ELF. And I'm so thankful to the Helvetic management for giving me this opportunity. First and foremost, my wife and I are going to be extremely excited to get out there, make new family, make a new home, new living conditions, and just really get things rolling. But Helvetic Nation, get ready for something fun to watch. Get ready to see a team that's going to compete week after week. It's not going to be a situation where you look out there and be like, what the heck is this? You're going to be like, oh, this is why I bought my ticket to come and see this style of play. So you guys get ready. It's going to be fun. It's going to be action packed. And I'm just so excited to get to work.
Coach, great final words. Thank you so much for your time, and we're looking forward to the next couple months and then finally next year to see you on the sideline.
Sounds good, man. And hopefully see you guys at the tryout.